So you want to be the most interesting guy, the most interesting person in the room. You want to be the most paid attention to. What can you do? What are the steps you can take towards being an interesting person? How can you become more of a valued person? When people see you, they want to hear from you. They want to hear what you have to say. Well, let's start off with, you can't be a person who talks a lot. You can't be a person who spews out a lot of information. When people hear your voice a lot, they get used to it. When people hear you a lot, they kind of tune you out. If you're loud, if you're excessive, obnoxious, a lot of people want to be paid attention to, but they're the ones screaming in the room. If you act like a kid, people will treat you like a kid. There's nothing brand new to this. You want to be the most paid attention to. I'd advise you to start off by keeping quiet. Number one, actually listening to what people have to say. There's a saying that you want to be listened to, you want to be valued in a conversation, in a room. You want people to actually pay attention to you. You actually have to want to listen to people. You actually have to want to know what someone is saying, want to learn from what someone is saying. When people are having conversations, don't be that person who just wants to spew out information, yell out the answer right away. Take some time to listen and actually observe the person. I have this thing that when someone else is talking, I stay quiet for a bit and see how they talk. What are the characteristics they display when they talk? What are the things they say on a reoccurrence? The reason I'm saying this is the reason I do this is not to be weird or because I really want someone to pay attention to me. It's just a habit I've built along the way, because I believe what everybody has to say is important. If they're a person that has sense, obviously I don't listen to people who don't have sense, but what I'm trying to say is that when you see people on a daily basis, everything they have to say is valuable. Everything they have to say to you is also valuable. A lot of people, they have this mindset that I want to be right, I want to be correct, I always want to get in my answer, I always want to get in my thoughts. It's like, bro, take some time to actually relax and observe the conversation. You don't always have to be on the talking end. You should be on the receiving end, the end that actually listens and observes and takes in information. When you build these characteristics of not spewing out information, people start becoming more people start becoming more fond towards you, because they're curious about what you have to say. You start hearing people say, yo, Jonathan, what do you have to say about this conversation? What do you think about this? Because you actually listen. They see that you listen, so now they want to hear your output. It's kind of logical. It kind of makes sense, because if I see there's someone who's quiet, he observes every time I speak, he's super intuitive, like he's always listening to what I have to say. I don't want to hear what he has to say. Then automatically what he has to say becomes more valuable. A lot of you guys need to learn to just stay quiet, shut up, stop being so quick to talk. You're listening to respond, not to understand. That's the saying. You need to listen to understand, not to respond. It's not every time you have to respond with an answer. Sometimes it's good to just chill out, sit down, and observe the situation and understand what's going on. I feel like that's a serious thing. You want to be the most important in the room. Build your status, build your looks as well. Number one, you have to work on how you control your emotions, how you speak. Just like I was saying, don't be the person who wants to just always spew out information. Number two, you have to work on how you look. You have to look presentable. You have to look like an icebreaker. One thing I always look at is, how can I build myself to the sense that when people look at me, they're like, okay, this guy has value to offer. If you're in shape, you look good, People are going to take you more serious than if you're out of shape, you're unhealthy, you look like the average Joe. Unfortunately, if you look like the average Joe, you're just going to blend in. Everybody's not going to be able to see you because you just look like everybody else. You got to stand out. What can you do to be different? I'm not saying be a weird person, always trying to be different, but have something that stands out. When people look at you, they're like, okay, this guy has a characteristic that is different from the average Joe. That's what I'm trying to say. Putting yourself in shape is very important. Then people actually take what you have to say seriously because you look presentable. You actually look like a boss. You actually look good. So number one, work on how you talk, work on how you carry yourself. Number two, become in shape, look presentable, be fit. Number three, dress properly. If you look like a homeless person, no one's gonna respect you, unfortunately. We live in a society where people judge people by the book, by the cover. When's the last time people actually paid attention to a homeless person? So now, would you want to look like a homeless person? You actually have to dress presentable. Make sure your clothes are always clean when you're going out in public. Make sure you actually look presentable. That's how you catch people's attention. That's how you become important in the room. People are attracted to materialistic things. Unfortunately, that's the society we live in. So people will look at you and they will judge you. They will 100% judge you. We live in a society where people judge and judge and judge people every single day. You judge people as well. I judge people all the time. When I look at someone, the way they present themselves is how I'll kind of have an outlook on them. I'll kind of be like, he's sagging his pants, he's wearing a hoodie, looks kind of rough. He's probably a goon. I don't know. It's not that I'm saying he's a bad person, but there's certain looks that would associate you with certain groups. So if you want to look successful, you want to present yourself as someone who has value, you have to dress clean, you have to dress presentable, you have to look it. You actually have to look the role. It's like fake it till you make it kind of aspect. I don't know how to really put it, but that's how you do it. You kind of have to present yourself in that kind of position, in that kind of way. It's all about the outlook, the mindset too. Number 4 is your mindset. What kind of mindset do you have? Are you a people pleaser? Because someone who is the most important in the room doesn't care about pleasing people. He's just to himself. He's calm, stoic, observant, relaxed. You carry an aura that when people look at you, they're like, wow, I want to know more about this guy. I want to know more about this girl. She's calm. He's calm. These are characteristics you think towards looking at. A lot of you guys are so quick to spew out information, burst out in laughter, talk so loudly. And I'm going to say this right now. This is a little off topic, but still on the topic. Me and my girlfriend went to this birthday party one of her friends was hosting. Me naturally, I'm a very calm, relaxed person. It's not because I'm trying to attract people into my life. That's just a characteristic I've built over the years, And me being in that environment, I was kind of like relaxed. I didn't really want to be there in the first place, but I was kind of relaxed because I was just chilling with my girlfriend, and I noticed how the guys were communicating with one another and also talking to the girls and how they're all behaving, basically. And I know this is kind of goofy, but there was like a wasp. There was a wasp flying around, and it was bugging everybody. It was bugging me too. I was swiping it away and stuff. And then what actually ended up happening is that these two guys, this other guy was sitting on the chair beside me. He said, "Damn, this bee wouldn't leave me alone." And then I noticed this other guy started yelling and said, "Bro, that's a wasp. That's a wasp." Right? I kind of looked at him and I was kind of like, "What the hell? Like, why is he tripping over something so little?" He wasn't angry, but he was like being super loud, obnoxious for no reason, no absolute reason. I look to the left and all the shorties are kind of just like, oh, like, what the hell? They're kind of icking, they're becoming dry because of how he's behaving. behaving like a kid. So then I look at the guy again, and then he's like, bees have big asses. He's yelling. I'm like, bro, like, fuck, what are you, a kid? I believe in something that as a man, no one should hear you yell unless it's necessary. Nobody's gonna hear me yelling for no reason. I'm not yelling if I'm excited over the most little thing, or if a bee is flying around my head and I'm just like, someone says something and I'm just yelling for no reason just to look cool. I feel like that's like an attention seeking kind of method, and it makes you look stupid, makes you uglier. It's dumb, basically. I kind of noticed it, and I looked to the girls, and the way they were icking, I was just like, yeah, this is crazy. And I'm not trying to feel myself, but I noticed most of the females were attracted to me because of the characteristic, the aura I was presenting, because I was calm, I was stoic, I was being observant, I was chilling, I was relaxed. I wasn't out here yelling like a maniac. What I'm really trying to get to the point is not to boost my self-esteem or any kind of thing. But what I'm really trying to get is to tell you, if you want to be the most intriguing person, you got to be calm. You got to work on your character. You got to work on your vibe, your aura. That shit really matters. If you're super loud, obnoxious, y'all got to stop that shit, bro. Calm your asses down, bro. That shit is goofy as hell. If you keep doing that, it makes you look dumb. You look like a kid. People present you as a kid. It's normally kids that yell and people tune them out. So you don't want to be that person who's just loud for no reason. Let your voice be known when this situation is supposed to be done. Let's say someone comes and disrespects you. Even in that situation, there's no reason for you to be yelling unless it needs to be done. You're protecting someone. You're protecting yourself. You're protecting your family. That's when I'll be like, yeah, let your voice be known. But if the situation doesn't warrant you yelling, bro, there's no need. Relax. Take a chill pill. Relax. You got to work on your vibes. So for those of you guys who want to be the most interesting person in the room, let me summarize it all. You got to work on your vibes. You got to be calm. You got to be chill. You got to present yourself in a way that people would be interested. They want to know about you. Number two, you got to be willing to listen. You got to be willing to learn from people, understand what people have to say. A lot of people have a lot of valuable messages they have to display towards you. Number three, present yourself properly. I'm a mix working out and being in shape with dressing good, because that's how you present your physical outlook. When people look at you and they judge you, you don't want to be out of shape. You want to look in shape, and you want to dress presentable. You don't want to look like a goon. You don't want to look like a homeless person, right? So dress accordingly. If you want to be of a high value man, dress like a high value man. Wear proper clothes. Work on getting watches and stuff like that. Even I got to do that. So these are all these things. You got to present yourself in the right way. Carry the right mindset too. You're not walking inside the room thinking you're the best, but you're walking inside the room thinking you're good enough. That's the mindset I want you guys to have. That's all I really got to say. Hope y'all have a blessed day. If y'all are new to this channel, like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support. Y'all have a good one. Easy. That's it for the video.